Hey everybody. Hi everyone. It's Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, and I am so excited to share this with you. Some of you may remember I spoke about going to Soul Camp last year. It was this amazing, wonderful sleepaway camp for adults that involved things like angel readings, yoga, and an amazing group of people where I made such wonderful friends. And the two organizers, who are you are going to meet in a moment, are phenomenal. Michelle Goldblum and Ali Leipzig, they have been friends since childhood, and they were guided to bring Soul Camp together. And I want to share it with you because I know that so many of you have really big dreams. And I think sometimes dreams feel so much bigger than we are. And I think Soul Camp would fit into that category. And so I invited them to share a little bit about how Soul Camp was born, and I also want to share with you about Soul Camp because I know for so many of us, I don't know about you, but so much of my life is virtual. And I don't get that much of an opportunity to go out into the world and play in the spiritual realms with other like-minded people. And so I love getting to go to Soul Camp. I'm going to be there this year. And I met so many amazing people. So if you're looking for something fun where you're going to get to meet other people and be in a heart-centered, soulful place, I just really want to recommend Soul Camp. So first I want to introduce you to Ali and to Michelle. So hello, beautiful girls.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Whichever one of you wants to go first and introduce yourselves and whatever you want to share to start.
Mish, you can go first. Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Goldblum. Camper at heart. I guess I'll just tell a little bit about me other than Soul Camp, even though, I mean, nothing is other than Soul Camp anymore. But I own a branding and marketing company for the mind, body, spirit, wellness world. So that is what I do when I'm not in full-on camp mode. And yeah, that's me. It's called I Am Creative. Like I am that I am. I am a camper. I am creative. And Allie, do you want to go, Al?
I'll go. So I'm Allie. I am Michelle and I, when we're in the Soul Camp energy, we just giggle all the time. It's so funny. So besides Soul Camp, I have a blog where I write about all things about body image and self-love and spirituality, and I also am a branding and graphic designer for entrepreneurs in the wellness space. So there's that, and I live here in New York near Michelle on the Upper West Side. I love it so much. It's my apartment, and that's
my apartment too.
Well, and you know what? I love your story about how Soul Camp came to be because, I don't know how it felt to you, but it felt like the vision was so big, and you guys just said yes to it. And you made it look so easy, and I know that it wasn't, but would you share just a little bit about how Soul Camp was born?
Yeah. So, it's really funny, and I'll tell the first part, Michelle, and then I'll let you jump in. Michelle and I went to the same sleepaway camp growing up, but we were different ages, which she's only 3 years older than me, but like in camp age, it was like, oh my God, that's Michelle Goldblum. She is camper captain of Color War, and like she's so cool. And so I knew of Michelle. And I moved to New York, and I started my design business, and I was really in this community of wellness entrepreneurs, people that were really wanting to live a beautiful life. And I saw Michelle in a picture on Facebook in her bright neon leggings in the background of this flash mob for a workout we love called Intensati, which we have at Soul Camp. And I saw it and like ignored it. And then all of these pictures kept popping up on my newsfeed, and I was just like, is that Michelle? Like, is there another Jewish girl that went to sleepaway camp that is in my world? Like, really? Like, and then I remember texting my friend about it, like, I think Michelle Goldblum, like, does Intensati. I didn't even know Michelle. Anyway, so then I friended Michelle, and she wrote back immediately, was like, do we know each other from camp and Intensati? And I was like, I guess so. And we met. Actually, this is crazy. We decided to meet to go to lunch, and literally the day before we were supposed to meet, we ran into each other at a breathwork class.
We were breathing next to each other in a breathwork workshop. Literally the evening before we were supposed to meet for the first time.
So great.
Wow.
So
I've heard this before. This is cool.
Yeah. And then so Michelle and I met, and she was starting her. Well, Michelle, you jump in here. This part.
Yeah, so we met, and again, I used to actually work in global pharmaceutical brand development for Johnson and Johnson. So I was like transitioning out of a whole other life altogether into the creation of I'm Creative, which is this whole mind, body, spirit immersion in branding. And all of a sudden, I start like just surrounding myself with other people like Allie and myself and like you, Laurel, and it was like my whole life was changing so quickly. And then all of a sudden, I meet Allie, and I'm like, oh my God, it's my best friend. Like, it was like very like, there she is. And like, I felt so strongly. And at the time, I'll never forget this. At the time, I hope Audrey's not watching this, but at the time, I had a business partner with I'm Creative, and I remember seeing Allie and seeing the work that Allie did, and like just saying to my mom, like, I should have met Allie first. Like, that just feels like my business partner. Like, that just feels like the energy of like what it would be, and and it's just so amazing that a few years later, the woman, the incredible, beautiful woman who is no longer my partner, and I'm Creative, is no longer my partner, and Allie is. So what happened? So me and Allie became very quick friends. Started hanging together all the time, and we're in a group of, all of our friends are all entrepreneurs in the wellness world, and they would freaking hate us because me and Allie would like walk down the street like making up rhymes about everything, and like like every time something happened, like we would just start clapping, like a big part of like who we are as people, I think. And I think that comes from camp, like always like clapping and cheering. And so like that is just like a part of our day, like how we were with our friends, how we were in life, and like they would be so annoyed because we would always be singing and everything like so campy. Fast forward to we're on, one of our good friend Natalie Berthold, who's also a soul camp instructor. We're on one of her retreats in Cape Cod, and Allie and my like away message on Facebook or email or whatever was like, we're away on a retreat, like not answering email, blah blah blah. And the director of Camp Tawanda, the camp that we went to as children, reached out to both of us at the same time and was like, hey, I see that you guys are always on retreats. You can bring a retreat to Camp Tawanda, meaning you can bring like a 30-person yoga retreat here to Camp Tawanda. And Allie and I looked at each other and we're like, oh my freaking God, we're going to blow this out of the water. And so quickly, it was like, within that first few days, we like came up with a name. Like it was like we were going back and forth.
Well, we like at first we were like, what could this be? And then we just started like we were like, well, we know this person, and all our clients are teachers, and all of our friends are amazing.
And they're like the experts. Like not only are they just teachers, but they're like the creme de la creme in
like all of a sudden realized like we were already set up for this. We were like, whoa. And then Michelle sent this email back because we just, again, it's our enthusiasm, excitement that really like gets us going. She like wrote all these like hashtags. It was like hashtag camp 2.0, hashtag like spirit camp, hashtag soul camp. And I wrote back and I was like, soul camp, that's the name.
And we wrote back and forth over and over, soul camp, soul camp, soul camp. I think that like one day we are going to like print out that email chain and like it will be framed on our office wall because that was like so the beginning. Yeah. And so like Allie said, we put together literally what we did. We sat and we put together a list of all of the instructors that like we would love to like have teach and speak and give workshops and everything. We wrote a whole list. And then we wrote a whole list, and I'll never forget this because I remember like we were at Jiva Mukti Cafe in New York City in Union Square, and we were like, what companies would want to be part of this? Well, what companies have like soul in them? And we're like Huffington Post, GPS for the soul, Soul Pancake. And I remember like looking like outside and like there was Oprah like said something about soul. And we're like, oh my God. And so we're like, we're being guided. Anyway, we reached out to all, like Oprah is guiding us. We reached out to all of those instructors. We reached out to the Huffington Post. We reached out to Soul Pancake. Every single person was a yes, including those two companies. And the Huffington Post was our media sponsor last year, and they were like sending out dedicated emails to all of the Huffington Post people, about Soul Camp. And it was like everything just started happening so unbelievably quickly. And then as soon as the tie-dye aesthetic came into fruition, that's when like things just started getting off the hook. And like it just, yeah, Allie, you could.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to jump in and say, because, so this is why Michelle and I work really well together. Michelle is like this like fearless, like, I am just going to go and it doesn't matter. Like, she just goes. And I'm a little more like, okay, like, what are we doing here? Like, let's take a step back. And so, like, when there was that, and then there was also, like, we have no clue what we're doing, but we felt the pull and the energy towards it. Like, this is my experience. It was like, I don't know what the heck this is, but this feels like a yes. I am scared, and I'm exhilarated, and so excited all at the same time. So, like, all right, I'm feeling all the things. Like, this has got to be good. And I had a partner that really was just, like, there. We just trust each other. So, like, from the start, it was, like, we weren't, like, okay, this is going to be this, like, huge multi-million-dollar company. We were just like, this would be so much fun to do. And I remember hearing people say that before of like, this is just fun, so I'm just going to do this. I didn't really get it, but like Michelle and I we spend like 10 to 12 hours a day talking, breathing, planning Soul Camp, and it's like we're in startup phase. So like we like aren't necessarily seeing the like tangible like financial results, but we know like this is a dream that is going to be going far. So I just want to bring that perspective in because like we just have so much fun doing it. But it's
and what I just said about like feeling the energy of it from the get-go, you know, it felt really, really big. Like from the get-go, it didn't feel like, oh, we're going to do a retreat. From the get-go, it was like even before we didn't even have a website up. Like we had nothing. It was like appropriate to call the Huffington Post and be like, you should be our sponsor. Like that was the feeling of it. We didn't have a website up. We didn't have anything. Like it was like, hey, we felt it so strongly of like, this is going to be insane. And it was it was a yes. It was a yes. And then as soon as we put up the website and as soon as like Allie created the most amazing logo ever and it's like insane, as soon as like all of that went up, it just started like going. Like, you know, BuzzFeed picked us up, Condé Nast, like we just kept being in all of these like press over and over, and people would be like, who's Soul Camp publicist? And we'd be like, God. God is our publicist.
Best publicist ever.
Yeah, really. Because, like, literally, I'll never forget, I was, like, in a cab, and my best friend from high school, like, texted me. She's like, Michelle, Soul Camp is in the front of BuzzFeed today. And we had no idea. So, like, people would just start, like, being like, guys, you're, you know, in timeout. You're in Racked. You're in, and it wasn't, and I think a huge part of all of this and a huge part of the success and a huge part of the magnitude of it is because Allie and I so feel so strongly, this is not us. Like, we have the honor and the incredible opportunity to guide forward this energy of Soul Camp. It's not like Allie and Michelle. I mean, I didn't even want to put us on the website. Allie, like, was like, we need to put us on the website. I was like, no, don't put us on the website. Because it was like, remember, Allie, you were like, we need to put us on the website.
Wait, can I ask you guys a question? So I have a question because other people may be wondering about this. What would you say to people who feel like they've got this really big dream and it just feels so much bigger than them? How did you guys walk through whether you had fear? I'm sure you must have had fear because we all do. Like, how did you walk through the fear and, oh my God, can we really do this? And what would you say to people who are feeling like they've got some really big dream that's being birthed through them?
I mean, I can say for myself, I think Allie dealt a little bit more with this just because who I am as a person is just kind of like, let's go, let's do it, let's try it. Like, I just so believe, and, you know, I'm so grateful for my mom and I'm so grateful for how I grew up, just with a belief that everything is going to be okay, no matter what. Like, everything will be okay. So even if I try something and I totally fail, or I try something and I, like, lose money, like, I'm lucky enough in this lifetime that, like, I will never end out on the street. Like, I won't. Like, I have some people that I can stay, like, everything will always be okay. So just knowing that always, and kind of that clears away a lot of fear. But more than anything, it was like I was in the energy of Soul Camp. Like the energy, the vibration of Soul Camp is so powerful and so exciting and so enthusiastic that it sweeps away the fear. And Allie and I always talk about that. Like when we're together, like sometimes when we're separate, like fear will creep up of like, oh wait, we're not making any money at all, or oh wait, like, you know, are enough people signing up? But when we're together, it's like the power of Soul Camp is so strong that all of those thoughts like literally burn off upon arrival. Like they don't even come into our orbit. So that's my experience, is like turning off my mind. My mind was like, you know, as all of our minds, it's like, oh, what is this, da da da. But like being able to turn that off and tune into the energy and like get into that forward motion, that really helps me be able to do it.
Yeah, the getting into the energy, like if you can feel the power of what the experience that you're bringing for your people is, like it does calm down the mind, because I have a very active fear mind, like for sure, which I can go into. But one of the things that Michelle said, you know, you might not have a business partner, but what you can find is community and tribe. So like Michelle and I, even we have each other, but we have also friends that are like so supportive, and they are also doing this sort of work, and you need that. So like even times when Michelle and I both go into like, guys, we haven't sold any tickets, this is really scary, our friends are like, come on, like, you know, this is like beyond. And then we're like, oh, okay, like they see it, okay. And, you know, like I have parents that like have asked me the hard questions, like, what are you going to do if you like don't have the capital to pay that contract that you just signed? And like, what are you going to do if like this doesn't pan out? Like, stop saying this is like the thing. And so like I have that voice in my head constantly. So what I look at is just like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? I just like go there. Like, what is the, okay, we owe like this amount of money to this person. No one buys a ticket, which is like not going to happen, but I just walk through it. I'm like, this, no one's going to buy a ticket. We're going to owe this amount of money. Okay, I have this skill that can make me money here, and I'll be able to pay that. Like, if worse comes to worse, I have a credit card. Like, if we're, like, I walk through the things,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh, okay, all right, this could be okay. And then I'm like, because, like, when you're in that fear, it's hard to step into the energy, right? Like, it's like you're so immersed in the anxiety. So walking through that and, like, kind of, like, calming yourself, like, soothing yourself. And it's not, like, just, like, self-care. It's, like, facts. It's, like, looking at, like, okay, like, if this happens, what can I do? And that really, really helps me. And then just naming it. Like, I called Michelle last week, and I was like, we're doing a West Coast camp. We've never done that before. That's scary. And I was like, can you just, like, can we just talk about it, that it's, like, it's a risk, it's scary. And she's like, yep. And she's like, but actually, I don't know if you know this, Michelle, but she was like, it's scary, but I'm not afraid. And I was like, yeah, that's freaking awesome. Like,
I love that. And you know, wait, I have to reflect on two things. One is, you probably don't know this, Allie, but there's this amazing stream of light that is coming in every time you talk. It's like there's an angelic being.
Really?
It is so cool. Wait till you see the playback. So I just need to acknowledge it, because probably everybody's watching it, it's in there. And I loved what you said about walking through the fear, because Michelle, I love how fearless you are. The second I met you, I loved that about you. And I was like, ooh, you know, Ivy, put some in me, because I tend to be risk averse, which it's amazing that I'm an entrepreneur, because I'm not that archetype. And I remember when I was going to leave my corporate job to start Illuminating Souls, which was a huge risk for me. And I had to go through that process. You went, okay, so let's say I leave my job and nobody comes. Then what? And Wes and I weren't married yet, but I thought, you know what? I will go to Wes and I'll live in, like, I'll just sleep on the floor and eat macaroni and cheese and top ramen, right? And I can always get a job because I type 60 words a minute. And I think sometimes when something new is being birthed through us, it is good. Listen, the juiciest dreams we have feel way bigger than us. I mean, nobody has a dream of, like, you know what, I think I'm going to just, I think I'm going to start a business and maybe work with one or two people. And I mean, the bigness of the soul's dream shows up, right? And it's massive. And it is only possible to be birthed through co-creation, divine co-creation. And that's so what I experienced through the two of you. I experienced divine co-creation. I experienced joyful creation. You guys love what you're doing, and that love comes into everything. And I think those are some of the hallmarks.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to share about how I learned about Soul Camp and met you guys. So we have a virtual,
right?
Yeah, at the TED retreat. So our friend Stephanie Ziv, who has the On the Hook movement, who we love.
Another Soul Camp instructor.
Another Soul Camp instructor. We had gone to USM together, and she was coming out to Napa because you guys were going to be going to this TED retreat where everyone was going to be watching the TED conference, which sounded awesome. And I said, I want to come. And Michelle was there. And Michelle, like the whole weekend, you're like walking around with your little laptop, and you started talking about Soul Camp. And I think that the moment I heard the word Soul Camp, Sleepaway Camp, yoga, instructors, life coaches, Stephanie, I remember thinking, okay, I need to be there. I don't know how this is going to work, but I didn't even know what it was, but I just knew that I needed to be there. And then I think that was the weekend that the website came up, which was beautiful. And I just want to thank you guys for inviting me to be a part of it, because it was a game changer for me last year.
Yeah.
Working in my business is virtual. 99% of my business is virtual. And it can be isolating. And, I think as adults, where do we go to meet other like-minded people? Like, where can we go in the joyful energy? If you go to a meetup and it's 1 hour once a week, there's only so much of a connection you get. But living together for 3 or 4 days and going through these shared experiences, it was just what I needed. I'm so grateful. And there were miracles and connections. And I just want to say to anybody who's thinking about going, especially if you're somebody and you find it hard to meet people, because I think for a lot, some people are very gregarious, and it's really easy for them to go into a crowd of people and meet people.
Yeah.
I'm very gregarious, but it is not easy for me to go into a group of people and socialize.
Yeah.
And so something like this is perfect for somebody like me, because I'm going to be sitting next to somebody at lunch, and we're going to have a shared experience. We're going to go to a lecture. We're going to go to a class. We're going to have the bonfire. We're going to make s'mores. We're going to be in bunks together. It's like you get to build your tribe. And I'm still in touch with people I met at Soul Camp. Just like when I was a kid and went to, Olensang Ruby Union Institute Camp in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Now this is the adult version of that, and I love that.
Yeah, the majority of people who came to Soul Camp came alone. And the majority of people who came to Soul Camp came with trepidation, and also came with a longing in their heart to find their people. And like a lot of people came, in their 40s, 50s, 60s. One of Allie and my favorite memories is, there was this woman like mid to late 50s, and she came up to us at the end of Soul Camp like hysterically crying, and was just like, I met my best friends here. I can't believe I had to wait so long in my life to meet my sisters. And it was like, oh my God. And this is a woman who came by herself, and so it's just, I so understand what you're saying. I mean, I am not that way, obviously, but the majority of my world is that way, and like it's, do I want to go to this experience alone, not knowing anyone? What if I'm left out? What if everyone is coming with friends and I'm the only one who's alone? What if I don't resonate with anyone or don't relate to anyone? And, Allie and I created Soul Camp with all of those thoughts in mind and in heart. We really, like all of the bunks, all of the seating arrangements, everything is so thought out with that in mind. Because just really quickly, Allie and I both went to this camp and did not necessarily have joyful, like joy-blasting time. Like Allie and I experienced as children those feelings of feeling different, of feeling left out, of feeling not a part of. And that's another reason why Soul Camp is just so unbelievably special, because we're really able to give not only everyone, but give ourselves the experience of the camp of our dreams, and like the tribe and the community that we would have loved. It's almost like we're feeding our little inner child, our little girls, like they're jumping for joy. That's a lot of the joy, I think, that comes through Allie and I. It's like our younger selves, just so grateful and excited.
And Laurel, just to touch on what you were saying about, like, you know, if you just go to like a meetup for an hour, like, you know, you don't necessarily have that deep connection. And Michelle and I were talking about this the other day because, like, whenever we're around anyone that was at Soul Camp, that's all they're talking about. Or, like, they'll just be like, and we're just like kind of listening up, like, remember that time at Soul Camp? Like, remember this there? And, like, it's constant. And we're like, why is that? Not because Soul Camp is so special, but Soul Camp creates the time for people to connect and have those memories, because we are rushing in our life. We're on our cell phones, like walking and talking and doing 6 things at once. And where in your life do you have 4 days to, like, connect, to take time for you, to eat really nourishing food, to, like, move your body and, like, connect with the angels and, like, make Malabeads? I mean, where does that exist? Nowhere except Soul Camp. And it's memories that you'll always remember, just like camp. You'll always remember camp.
Well, you know, I will share with you, and I don't even remember how much of this I've ever shared with you guys, but so you guys invited me to be at Soul Camp, which was so awesome, and I immediately got that yes, you know, that soul yes, that big yes. And then what happened is all my stuff came up, and my stuff was somewhere along the line of, I'm going to be the oldest person there, I'm going to be 53 years old, I'm going to be the biggest girl there, they're all going to be like skinny young yoga girls, and it's like all of my stuff came up. It's like, who even knew it was there? I'm confident. It's like, what happened there? And I remember I was staying with our friend Stephanie Ziv before Soul Camp, and we're looking through the website and looking at the Instagram feeds of everybody who's going to be there. And it's so funny. I have not shared this with her yet, but we're looking through the Instagram feed, and our friend Caroline White, the photographer, right, who's a dear friend of mine, and I love her. But I didn't know her before Soul Camp, and she posted this picture. She always does this. Whenever she travels, she posts pictures of the few things that she packs. She's a very light packer. So I remember, I think her picture was something like her string bikini, her little pair of shorts, her camera, and her red lipstick or something, whatever it was. But I remember, what am I in common with this girl? Like, how are we even going to relate? I mean, there's nothing, all of my stuff, I always feel like I need to share the shadow stuff because we all have it.
Oh, yeah.
I was so intimidated. I mean, as confident as I am in my sphere, coming into something like this was kind of, and it's so funny because Caroline became a dear friend of mine. I love this girl. Now if I saw that same picture, I'd be like, oh, Caroline, and, it's just so interesting. And, I just want to share one other fun Soul Camp story, which is, I think it was the last full day. And one of the workshops wasn't happening, and our friend Stephanie Ziv had asked, can I just do this thing called Coach Me If You Can, where she was going to coach people in 3 minutes. She was like going to fix your life. And so I thought I was one of the only people there from Northern California because almost everybody else was East Coast. And our friend Julie Santiago got up and she started talking, and some of you guys might know Julie from her 40-day gratitude circle. And she's telling about how she's going to be doing this women's retreat, but everybody's from the East Coast and no one's going to be there, and she wishes she could have this there. And Stephanie asked, where's the retreat going to be? And Julie said, in Sonoma. And I was like, well, I didn't even have words. I was like, I'm in Vallejo. And Julie has become one of my best friends. I mean, one of my best friends. She's my soul sister. And none of those things would have happened if I hadn't gone to Soul Camp. And I'm just so grateful because I was so hungry. I was so hungry to find my tribe again in this new place. And
yeah.
And can I just share a fun thing? I told the girls that I found this. They had lanyards. Does anybody remember going to camp and making lanyards? I didn't remember how to do lanyards, but our friend Stephanie Ziv taught us all. So lanyards, it involves tie-dye shirts. It involves the most awesome schedule of fun classes you ever want to know. You also don't have to do anything, just so you know. It's not like you have to do everything. You can do whatever you want. The food is off the charts. It's healthy. There's vegan options, gluten-free options. There's a canteen that's open 24/7. The campgrounds are gorgeous. And this year, they're not only doing Soul Camp East at Camp Towanda, they're doing Soul Camp West out here in California.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I'm going to get to be at both of them. I'm going to be channeling angels. So for those of you that are thinking, I'd like to go, I want you to know right now, if you go, you're going to know me. And even if you haven't met yet, you can send me an email and go, Laura, I'm going to be there, and I promise I'll find you and give you a hug, and you'll know one person. And now you're going to know Michelle and Allie. And
Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I just wanted to just, add in here. So this experience, this event, this retreat, this has nothing to do with business. So business and, how to market and how to brand, even though obviously that's what Allie and I do in our real lives. That's what Allie and I do as businesses. We were very, very clear that all of that stuff, how to build your followers, was completely off the table for Soul Camp. So, it's really a space where you have no idea, what the other person next to you, what their following is or whatever. It's we really wanted to take that whole conversation out of the equation just for these few days and provide a space where it's not about what you do, even though so obviously almost all the people who come to Soul Camp are doing such incredible, socially conscious, empowering things in the world, on the planet. But we really wanted to provide a space for everyone to come and where the conversation was not at all about what they did or how they're serving, but more about, who they are and how they're feeling.
Yeah.
That's really a big difference, I think, about Soul Camp than a lot of these other amazing, things that are out there.
Yeah, and that leads to more authentic connections that can lead to really great business relationships and clarity in your business. We have so many people come back, be like, oh my God, I know what I'm going to do. But they didn't even focus on it. It's that's what you need in order to get that. And we take it off the table so that you can have the chance to go in and find what you need, and then you come out of it a different person.
Well, and another thing that I wanted to share that I loved so much about Soul Camp is so much of the spiritual stuff we go to is mostly women. And you know what? You guys had such a great mix and ratio of men to women at this. I'm not trying to set up a singles thing. I just mean that balanced male-female energy. It really was a community. So I love that you guys set it up that way.
Yeah, and even, this year there's going to be even more. We have so many incredible male instructors and teachers this year, and already we have so many men, signing up, and, because it's not just women who want to find, a place where people speak the same language as them, and where it's not necessarily just this huge party, even though it's so fun and so there is so much partying, there's no alcohol, there's no, this is camp. You get kicked out if you have the alcohol. It's just finding a really safe, fun, clean, playful, pure place to come and to play and to find your people and to experience, what you said, Laurel, every period we have 8 or 9 things happening simultaneously, from astrology readings to angel card, healing to, cardio, yoga, fitness, dance, dream catcher making, mala bead making, you name it. We have everything, and it's just amazing to watch people get to go and experience all of these things that maybe they heard about or read about, but to have everything in one place happening is, it's just incredible to watch the transformations that come from that.
Yeah. It's so amazing. You know what I want to do? I think I can do this here. I think I can show your website. So let me see if I can do this. Let's see.
Oh, see if you can show the video, maybe.
Oh, maybe that too. Let me see how this works. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Let me work this out. This is my first on-air Google Hangout, everybody, so I'm learning as I go. Otherwise, I'll screen share. No, it didn't like that. So hang on just a second. I'm going to just do a plain old screen share. Let's see how I do that. Google Effects. Which one of these? Screen share. Screen share. Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
Okay. Okay. So the website is soul.camp. So http://soul.camp. And you'll come to this amazing website. This is that beautiful logo that Allie designed, and everything is tie-dye. This was our opening fire ceremony last year that Julie Santiago led us through, which was so beautiful. And so if you come to the website, to one of the yoga classes by the lake, you'll get to read all about it. And there's 2 different camps this year. One is at Camp Towanda, which is in the Poconos in New York. The other one is going to be in Wonder Valley in California, and that's 3 hours, 3 hours away from both San Francisco and Los Angeles. And there's going to be amazing instructors. And what do you guys want to say, or do you guys want me to navigate to something here?
I think showing the video would be the best thing. Allie, what do you think?
I agree.
Let's show the video. Where do I go? Here we go.
Yeah,
the highlights?
Yeah, that should play it. And then you can press full screen once you play that.
Hi, and I'm Michelle, and we're the founders and directors of Soul Camp. Soul Camp is where you disconnect from the ordinary and connect to the extraordinary, where you find new friends and discover yourself, where you remember who you truly are, and you take action to live a life that you freaking love. We are so happy that you guys found us. We'd love for you to check out our instructors and workshops and teachers this year as we're expanding to California and the East Coast in 2015. Welcome to Soul Camp. Welcome home. Since this past Thursday, I've lived here every day like it's the best day of my life. It's been great to just unplug, and it has been so much fun to feel like a camper as an adult. Really felt like people were just here to be and to learn and to connect with themselves and each other. Soul Camp has been seriously the most fun grown-up experience that I've had in so long. I'm celebrating now!
You learn so many other things with so many other inspirational instructors. It's just awesome.
And every day gets better, and every course or thing I do, I'm like, oh, that was the best thing ever. And it keeps getting better, so it's amazing. The level of instruction and the people is incredible. Soul Camp for me is like a dream come true, and you love everything about it. Open yourself up and go for it.
Anybody that has one inkling of coming, they should, because it will free your spirit and it will change your soul.
It's an experience that I think the whole world should definitely partake in.
You know, had a lot of doubts, but this has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, by far, in my entire life.
Soul Camp!
Woo! And you know what? I just want to show something else really quick. That for those of you that are thinking about coming to Soul Camp, I have they've given me a discount code to share with you guys. So if you want to sign up for Soul Camp, use the code ANGELSOUL, and you're going to get 20% off the discount. 20% off the discount. 20% discount off the registration. That's what I meant to say. So hold on, I'm going to now stop the screen sharing. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that part. Where do okay. No, that was net. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Yay. You know, can I just share with you what was so cool about watching that video again? I like get all teary. I get all excited because almost every single shot I knew people. was like, oh my God, there's Julie. Oh my God, there's Anthony. There, and I went there knowing Stephanie and Michelle, knowing you. That was it. Those were the only people that I knew going into it. And watching that whole video, it's just like when I was in camp when I was a kid. It's like I knew everybody in every shot, and that's just, isn't that awesome? So now this year when I go, I'm so excited to see people that I've already met, and all the new people.
Yeah. And that's what will just keep happening and happening, and that's really our goal for all of the soul camps is, you know, you go once, you go alone, you know no one, and then you leave with 10 like friends that you freaking love so much. It's like your core. And then you see them the next time that you go, and the next time that you go. And then it just builds and builds and builds, and you know, that's just, I love hearing that. That's what it means to create a community.
Yeah, really amazing. And you know, the other thing I wanted to let everybody know is that Allie and Michelle are going to be hosting webinars between now and Soul Camp. So and some of the instructors are going to be giving free classes and stuff like that. I'm going to be doing one with you guys in July with the Angels. And so even if you're not, even if you don't know that you can make it to Soul Camp in person, I really want to support you in going to their website and signing up, because you're going to get to come to the classes and be a part of the Soul Camp family, whether you can come to physical camp or not. They're creating a beautiful community in person and virtually.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys will like be able to experience obviously the incredible Laurel, and we have, you know, amazing speakers and essential oil specialists and tapping solution specialists all lined up for the webinar. So it's a taste of what Soul Camp would be, but virtual.
Awesome. So anything you guys so each one of you, anything you want to say to just wrap up of what do you want to say to all these beautiful souls out here who are watching this message, because we know that there's magic within them, and what would you like to say to them?
I just want to say, you know, like, I think we didn't even touch on this, but like Michelle and I couldn't have even dreamed that this was our dream, right? Like, this is like beyond what I could have even imagined. So just follow those footsteps and follow the next step that you are being guided towards, and I promise you, like, it's going to lead you to a life beyond your wildest dreams. And just follow each step, even if you have no clue why you're doing that, or if it's annoying, and just do it, because it will bring you to the dream of the dreams, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, you know, and this is what I tell myself, and this is what I tell so many people, that somewhere deep within you, there's just such a solid knowing of what your imprint can be on this planet, and a solid knowing to all of the questions or fears or mind clutter or mind chaos that sometimes goes through all of our minds. And, you know, just practicing tapping in, you know, to the knowing of the knowing, or to the remembrance that, you know what, like, you know when something is right, or you know when something is wrong, or you know if that person that you see, you want them in your life as a friend, or that client, you get a little weird when you're on the phone. Like, trust that. I saw a quote once that said, you know your intuition, yeah, trust that. That's your soul calling. And, you know, really just to honor that. Honor that. And the same goes for, I mean, I can say same goes for Soul Camp. Like, if there is that feeling that you know, even if it doesn't make sense, but if there's a knowing, just try to honor that, you know, in your life and everything. But that's what led me to Allie, and that's what led me to Soul Camp, and that's what led me, you know, to the life really of my dreams that I'm living. Just turning off my mind and listening to my gut, to my soul. So.
Oh, beautiful. I'm so grateful for you both. Thank you so much for taking the time and talking to my audience and the Illuminating Souls family, because I just love you guys so much. And
we love you and the Illuminating Souls family. You guys already feel like family.
Yeah, we love you so much.
We are the same peeps. And, you know, I want to just say to all of you who've been watching the video that how much we love you and we honor you, you know, as a practitioner and as an inspirer. It is so important to me that I fill my own cup. You know, I love sharing my inspiration with you. I love sharing the angels. But you know what? If my cup has run dry, there's not a whole lot that I can do. And so I'm so grateful for you guys with Soul Camp because it fills my cup. And so I'm so grateful. So I can't wait. We need to have even more because I want one this summer.
May your cup runneth over.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all of you who've watched, I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful for who you are in the world, and I'm so grateful for the way you show up. You know, you may have big dreams. Your dreams may even just be, you know, let me wake up tomorrow and feel happier. Wherever you are in your life, you are on holy and sacred ground. And I'm so grateful for the gift of you, and I'm so grateful for an opportunity to cheer you on and share your journey. And I just want you to know that you matter and your life matters, and there is so much love and support here for you. So whether you come to Soul Camp, whether you go to a local meetup, whatever you do, be sure to fill your cup and bring to you people who are going to love you and get you and see the beauty of your soul so that they'll help you remember who you are. And that's what my friends at Soul Camp do for me. So Michelle and Allie, I'm so grateful for you.
We love you so much. So much. So much. So much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. We'll talk to you soon.
Namaste.
Bye. I have to figure out how to turn this off. There we go.